Greetings, hello. Welcome on in. Unoptimized Fool here from the office. Glad you could be here. Obviously, we're going to talk about World of Warcraft today, and we're obviously covering all the things that were announced at midnight. We're going to be slowly going through all that content. There's a ton of content to dive into, but today I actually want to dive in to the new system that's coming in midnight called Prey. Now, again, we didn't know too much about it. We know some things about it, obviously not fully. Again, information is still coming out. We still have panels coming out at Gamescom, and obviously there'll probably be things trickling in. But let's just dive into what we know about Prey. All right, guys. So the first thing that we know about Prey is it's going to be another system that will be taking place in the open world, right? So it's going to be this new open world hunting system. Again, this is going to be in Midnight. Now, again, do we know if this is going to survive Midnight and go to a new expansion? I'm not too sure. Again, the Last Titan is next, so we'll see. Obviously, we'll see how it people enjoy it or not. So they say that the hunt begins, right? So you can visit Alistrar Lair in Silver Moon City, which is actually a prominent figure here in Silver Moon City. And you can choose your difficulty zone and target. We'll talk about the difficulties in a second. Obviously, the zones are only midnight zones, so you can't go to further into Eastern Kingdoms or into Kalimdor or anything like that. And then obviously you can select a target. Now, obviously, when you're on the hunt, right? So you take a contract before you venture out. Then once the hunt begins, your prey can strike at any time, right? So not only are you hunting this person or creature, they're going to be hunting you, right? So say for example, you pick up this quest and I don't know what the time limit's going to be for this. I don't know what's going to eventually be like. Again, we don't know that information right now. But if you go to another quest, that prey can actually attack you while you're in this quest, or even when you're just fishing, right? If you're mining, doing any professions, they can attack you. Now, again, we don't know if they can attack you in a main city hub. We definitely know it's an open world content, so if you're in a dungeon or a raid, they won't attack you. And obviously, there'll be multiple ambushes leading to a final epic encounter. Now, this system really reminds me of Monster Hunter world or any Monster Hunter where you go and fight this creature, it retreats, you have to go and hunt it again, it can ambush you, and then obviously the final epic encounter occurs. So again, I'm glad that they're taking a bunch of different things from other games. I mean, obviously that's how things should be. And you also obviously, right, for doing this, you can get some rewards. So they say right now you can earn cosmetics, mounts, titles, and housing items for successfully hunting your prey. I'm obviously thinking that you don't get anything if you get absolutely destroyed by your prey. So going into a little bit of a deeper dive here, right? So when engaging with the prey system, there's actually a new UI element that will appear on the screen. This was kind of announced in one of the panels, and it kind of changing as the hunt intensifies, right? So again, while you're hunting, you can be ambushed all the time. Now again, they compared this UI element to the Eye of the Jailer system we had in early Shadowlands. So if you remember that correctly, I believe that was in the Maw, right? Again, I don't like to reference Shadowlands at all, but um, that's kind of like the comparison that they do. Now, talking about the difficulties, right? There's going to be three difficulties, right? There's going to be normal, hard, and nightmare. So normal is going to be for introductory hunts, mostly easy to allow the players to get used to the systems themselves. This will be not much different in difficulty from normal open world content. So obviously, when we first get into the open world content, depending on your gear, it's relatively not bad. So obviously, this is the first thing you'll dive into. And then you have hard mode, which introduces the torments, which will increase the challenge of a hunt and confines final encounters to a single stage. So obviously, we'll and dive into that. And then obviously we have Nightmare, further increases the challenge of hunts. Corpse runs are expected. And I did hear a developer say that Nightmare is kind of like high tier delves. I'm not too sure if they were just referencing 11s in delves or like the question mark nemesis delves. So again, if it's 11s or a question mark, then I think it should be fine. But if it's question mark, then that's going to be um, really terrifying. And obviously, more of the stuff about cosmetics. Again, we actually it covers cosmetic transmogs, mounts, titles, and new items. Right now, obviously, we don't know what they are right now, but they did include a picture of like two almost like mana worms or something like that here with armor, which looks pretty cool. So we know at least two things, right? Now, there's one thing that I want to talk about. As of right now, we have no known player power rewards coming from this system. So again, we don't know. They didn't specifically say there was no power tied to this. So as of right now, we do not know if there's power. I would probably think they're not, because they did mention that this is something that you can pick up and do, and or drop, no problem. So obviously, I don't think they would describe a main system with player power like that. So there's really no rewards. It looks like it's all just transmog. So I'm all fine with that. It would be cool if there was a reputation assigned with this. Maybe, I don't know. That's just me spitballing, but yeah, it would be cool if there was a faction with this, just so I can get some reputation for doing this. I'm a big reputation guy. All right, guys, and that is all the information that right now we have about Prey. Again, there's going to be information that comes out that might be outdated by the time this video comes out. Again, they're currently releasing more content, but I obviously wanted to start talking about this stuff before, obviously, if I waited 2 weeks, I could probably have everything compiled, but obviously, if there's big updates, we'll definitely update it. Now, obviously, is Prey going to be an evergreen piece of content? I mean, right now it seems pretty shallow with the type of content, but the main feature of Midnight definitely is housing, right? So, we don't have too much. Obviously, they're expanding delves too, right? There's no power that we know of yet that is associated with this system. So, obviously, I don't think it's going to be there. Obviously, if it's really popular, they'll probably bring it back in some way, but there are pieces of content throughout World of Warcraft's history that's only been in one content, one expansion. So, this could be one. Obviously, they're testing stuff, right? These small little features are testing stuff. That's how we got the renown system. That's how we got delves, right? They test things. Obviously, if delves didn't do well, they wouldn't be here in Midnight. So again, definitely something to keep an eye out. But I'm definitely going to be indulging the system again. Housing rewards, cosmetic rewards, uh, titles. You also have mounts too. So a lot to collect. Definitely collectors will be having fun with the system. But I want to get your opinion about the system. Are you kind of, does this seem like too much to add to the game? Does this seem like they should make this more in-depth system? Should they tie it to power, or should it just be separate? I want to hear your opinions. But guys, thanks for listening. I am Unoptimized Fool. I'll see you guys in the next one.